Hey guys, this is Jake with EDC Leather. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to tell you guys we are going to be picking up with this after we set our thumb brake and our slide side square ring, okay? So, we have a video on this. It's going to be the top link in the description. Make sure you check that one out first and then come back to this one. And if you're all ready to go, we will get right into the video.
Hey gang, we're back again. Now let's start. We're going to continue to work on our shoulder holster click and ship. We're going to be working on the holster itself. So let's go over our tools and supplies necessary to do this. Glue. Our 3-part holster click set. Our patterns, which we're going to use 2 of our pages of patterns now. Okay. Our 1/8 inch punch. Our 1/2 inch punch, our scratch awl, our pencil, our open knife, and our hardware set. And consisting of that is going to be 2 of the 1-inch rings and 1 of our thumb brake kits. We're also going to use our snap setting tool. We're going to use our punch block. We're going to use a poly hammer, and we're going to use a cobbler's hammer. So let's go ahead and get after this here. So if you're familiar or not familiar, with click and ships from EDC, they are based off of one dimension, and then we adjust the pattern. This is a trim off line to fit the particular pattern we're doing. In this case, we're going to be doing a Glock 48, so we'll be adjusting this pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this pattern out down here, okay? And then I'm going to cut out this reinforcement panel using this trim off line that you see right here. Then we will transfer that to our leather and everything's going to come out great. So let's get after that. I'm going to grab my open knife and here we go. Alright gang, what we got here is we've already got our thumb brake and stiffener on. Just bring it back here. Okay, so now what we're going to do, like all click and ships, we have an area to trim off for this particular holster. So we're going to trim that off, and we're going to put little tick marks in our leather to place this pigtail, and then we're going to get it glued up. So let's go ahead and get it trimmed off. And you'll always see this on our patterns because the click is one shape, and then we trim it off to make it fit multiple firearms. There we go. So now all we do is we line this up with the ears of the holster. I'm trying to get where you can see it well. It's going to have to go this way. So now I've got it lined up. Grab my scratch awl. And we'll get a nice little line on there. You can use a straight edge to help. Some fellows say that a round knife helps them. Got a couple of round knives that are hanging on the wall over there. And I'm trimming this off with this curve. Get it close. You do not have to detail cut that curve because after stitch, you can come back and sand that down just a little bit, or after glue, before stitch. You can sand that down a little bit and get it truly match up. So now that part's done. The next thing we need to do is place our pigtail. Pretty simple deal. I'm going to come here. We'll put a little dink there, a little dink there. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay? Just made little marks on my leather. But the little cool thing that we're going to do is this right here. We're going to cut this off, and I'm actually using its stitch line to do this with. And we're going to mark a little area to glue that's just a little bit smaller than the actual pigtail. What this is going to do is keep that glue from spreading out past the edge of it. And just making a little line I can follow. There we go. We're going to grab our little leather scuffer. Just want something for that glue to get a nice bite on. This is going to go on here just like this, being lined up with the little tick marks. That's how that's going to go. So let's go ahead and get some glue on everything. Remember, always glue to the edge. Try to get your glue not to come chasing you from the glue pot. And really, guys, this is just holding the leather down for stitching. And we'll give that a few minutes to set up and get tacky, and then we'll glue that piece up. Pretty awesome, huh? Let's run an edger on this thing here before we glue it up, because after we glue it up, we won't be able to do the edger. Not too worried about this corner. I'm going to sand that, and I'll actually sand it at an angle to do that. But I wanted to get that edge ran right there. After the holster's together, we'll edge the rest of this that way. Let's go ahead and glue up. I'm using the little tick marks that I made to line this up and get it square on the holster. That's my cobbler's hammer, gang. I'm going to set a 3/16 stitch line. Then we're going to go ahead and stitch that thing up. And that's right good there. So we'll stitch this puppy up right here. And then we're going to lay our stitch lines on and get ready to taco this thing over. Alright, everybody. Let's get ready to put this thing together. So now what we need to do is we need to put glue on the inside, put this thing together that way. And we need to mark our stitch line on the outside. So when we look at that, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab our knife. We're going to cut right along that stitch line. Okay, let's go to the inside of this holster. Let's mark it up for glue. Same thing as we've done every other time, guys. We're going to brush our glue towards the edge and put glue on both sides, let it tack up, and then we're going to go ahead and put it on. Just get it smeared over there. All right. Let's get the other side. We use Masters. You can use Weldwood. You can use, whatever kind of contact cement makes you happy. Okay. So we'll let that there set up. Once that's gone into full tacky, I'll go ahead and mark the outside. So we need about 5 minutes for that set up. We'll be right back. All right, let's put our stitch line on the outside. This is the back of the holster because it's the thumb break. This is the front of the holster. So I'm going to lay that on there. I'm going to grab my scratch awl. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge. I'm going to stop it about there. Okay. Double check my dividers. We use a 3/16 stitch line. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. A lot of people use an 1/8. And just getting a nice little mark. Probably should have laid the stitch line in before I glued it, but it ain't gonna hurt anything. Okay, there's the stitch line there. Our glue is tacked up. Let's go ahead and get it together. You're gonna find it to help you a lot to wet down the middle of that holster. It's going to help you when you fold it, guys. And it's a lot thicker leather up here, so I'm kind of pre-folding that a little. And I'm matching those edges up so I don't have to do much sanding. And I'll take my cobbler's hammer. And we'll give her a love tap. Okay, now we can go ahead and stitch this thing together and get it ready for mold. All right, gang, let's place our ring on our pigtail. We've got the holster together so we can put this on now. We can see where the center point of the holster is. I can put that here. I'm going to bring it back just a hair more. There we go. I'm going to take my scratch awl. I'm just tracing the line that's following the bottom of the holster. Grab my leather shears. Get the pigtail a little bit wet. Double check again. Get that good mashed down. What I'm trying to see is where my line will go for my stitch line. And I can see here where the leather folds. And now we'll take that to stitch. Pretty cool, huh? Then this ring and this ring here is what's going to suspend the holster on your body. So I'm holding this here, still trying to get a nice mold, and then we'll go to get this here stitched. A little bit of glue. And it's a lot of fun to glue back in these little corners, but it's okay. We'll let that tack up. We'll mash her down, give her a quick stitch, and then we're off to mold. Alright gang, we got her ready to go. Let's get ready to get this thing wet, get a little bit of a mold on it. I'm going to turn it back to you. Using warm water. Don't shove the inside of my sink, Jake. Oh man. All these people are going to realize that all I do is drink coffee. C4. And C4 energy drinks. I blame Mark Dittenberg. Get this into there. Get it coming there. Need to get a little bit further there. We're going to go over and get the hammer because you know you've got to have a hammer. That looks good. We got it up into there. Got this leather awful wet, so I'm just getting it centered onto my firearm, and then we'll go to mold. He's recording. Alright gang, you've seen this mold before. We're going to use a press, just get a little bit of definition out of it. We've got some other videos which we go into detail using this tool. We'll put a link in the description for the videos on molding, dyeing, sealing, finishing. Now we don't have to mash this one as hard as what we mash some of these because our retention, like I said, is coming from our thumb brake. Cool. We'll give it 5 minutes in there. Pull it out. We'll let you see the results. All right, gang. We're out of the press now. Take the holster out of the bag. And you can see we picked up plenty of definition and molding just in the press. We don't need to do any more on this, so at this point here, we're going to let this thing dry. We're going to go ahead and get it ready for sealing. I'm not going to dye this holster. I don't like to dye shoulder holsters. And we'll come back as another little separate video, just like we did on the other thumb brake. We're going to show you how you mark the thumb brake itself, the strap, and trim it off. But other than that, this holster's ready to go. We're going to put it with our mag pouch and our harness, and you've got yourself a shoulder holster. Enjoy.